How's it going, pirates? Welcome to another WIP Wednesday episode. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna let you guys know how I got to this point. So, as a diabetic, one of the things that I do have to take every day are needles of insulin. And the needles that I get come with these caps that cover them up because they're disposable needles. And so I have tons of these. So I decided to use them in this build. What I've done is I've removed the little clip, shaved that down. Obviously this is going to be painted. Drilled a hole on the top. And I'm sure you guys have seen these radar dishes before from the, I believe it's Power of the Force. And so what I've done is I'll be using these in the build. Now the ones that I have still on the stands, or at least these stands, I'm thinking about adding them to the end of the ship. So there'll be one radar dish that will be on the end of the ship like this, and another one of these stands will be on the other end. Still don't know what I'll put on that other side. It won't be a radar dish, of course. And then what I'll be doing with the caps is I'll be actually placing them on the wingtips like this, now that there's not going to be any cannons, and then these will be sitting on the end like so. And so there'll be one on top, one on the bottom, and what's amazing is because there's this little divot here in the wing, the radar dish fits right into that spot almost perfectly. So it almost feels like this ship was made to have this custom made for it. So as you can see, the Y-wing cockpit is not attached yet. I've actually been shaving it down and cutting out the internal side of it. So here it is here. So made a big hole on top. So I shaved out a little pylon that was in there so that I can fit the landing gear, so I can make the landing gear retractable and go into the back end of the cockpit. However, what I'm thinking now is I think I might want to put a droid in there. So I'm going to see if I can fit a droid in there. I'm going to have to cut that out a little bit to see if a droid can fit in there and go from there. But that's for a little bit later. And now I'm just going to go off camera and attach the radar dishes. See you in a bit.
A few moments later.
So here was what it looks like with both radars mounted. They're not glued into place yet. They are fixed on there because of the holes that I drilled, but I do have to glue them into place so that they can stay in position because they do twirl around when the wings are being moved. I may also glue the wings down as they're not really secure on the B-wing, but so far it's looking pretty cool. I'll show you what it looks like when it's opened. So here's what it looks like when the wings are open. It's taking up my whole camera phone. It's going to be in this position when in flight. Looks pretty cool. Not bad, huh? Now I couldn't get a regular R unit droid in there, but this BB unit fits in there. It's actually friction fitted into that spot. I want to add something underneath so that it can actually sit into place a little bit lower than the position that it's in now. The hole isn't perfectly round. I went a little crazy with the Dremel and it made more like an oval shape. But it fits right now, so that's all that matters. Doesn't have to be perfect as long as it looks cool. So I put the cockpit seat back in, and I noticed at the back of this seat there's this little tray. Now it actually fit right over the canopy. Sorry, the pillar that was back there before. So what that means is now when I put the droid in, it actually fits perfectly at the back. So it doesn't stick out too much at the top. And it actually looks pretty good. I do want to put a rubber tubing around the top end of it, just so that it looks a little bit more uniform. I have to try to find a way also to cover up the windows, as it looks kind of weird seeing the droid just sitting there. So I kind of want to make the back of the ship more solid. So I have to figure out how I'm going to do that. But one step at a
2,000 years later.
So here it is with the cockpit loosely attached to it for now. I haven't glued it into place yet. I still have some work that I need to do on the cockpit. And overall, I may want to add lights to this, so I'm going to need it to be able to open up. So for now, I'm still contemplating that. However, I think it actually looks pretty cool with the BB unit there. As it's a prototype, it kind of makes sense that they would have a prototype droid that they'll be using on the ship. You guys can let me know what you guys think so far. And we still got a little bit more work to do. See you guys in a bit. So the other radar dish now, the two parts have been combined. Use some CA glue along with some baking soda to make sure that they stick permanently together, as it creates a stronger bond. So then right now, the next part is to figure out how this is going to fit on the side of the ship. So essentially I want it to be like this here. Oops. On this side of the ship. Still got to figure out how I'm going to glue that on there, and then also what I'm going to do about the gaps that it's going to create in between. So as you can see, once it's in position, once it's in position here, there's kind of a gap there, and I got to figure out how to fill that gap up and what to put in there. Maybe I can put a bunch of wires and stuff coming out from there.
A few moments later.
Well, as you guys can see, I've added the third radar dish on the side of the ship, and it's actually holding up pretty good. Now, some of the gappage isn't as bad as I thought it would be, because I've added this secondary cannon here. The muzzle definitely needs to be straightened out, as it got bent when I was trying to put it into position. So I just got to heat it up and straighten that out. And I've also added this secondary cannon, which is rear facing, so that way it can take care of any threats that are coming up behind the ship. Now, because this is a Recon ship, I still wanted to make sure it was well armed. As you can see, I've also added this front mounted cannon, because it has to be able to take care of itself while it's running its missions on its own. So it's no longer a bomber, but it's still a heavy fighter stealth Recon ship. Anyways, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next week. Just so you guys know, I have another surprise ship coming up next week that I started working on using the Outrider body. It's looking pretty cool so far, and I'll probably have more progress to show you guys next week. So I'll see you guys next week with another WIP Wednesday project. Oh, by the way, I'd like for you guys to come up with a name for this series. I was calling it WIP Wednesday because I was running them on Wednesdays, but just in case I can't always get them out on Wednesdays, I was thinking about WIP Weekly, or maybe The Weekly WIP. I put up a poll in the community section, so check it out and let me know by voting. Anyways, share this with anyone you might think would like this, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, pirates.